Love is Lost and I Paint, Claude Monet, 1840 to 1926, and Camille Dancieux, 1833 to 1879. Claude Monet lived his life as an eternal impressionist, unlike other painters around the Impressionist period. For Monet, reality as appearance, depicting the skin of the world as revealed by light, was a process that changed and was recreated every moment, and efforts to capture it led to new techniques. To capture the changes in light, the brush had to be accelerated, and as a result, his paintings are full of free-flowing, rough brushstrokes between short pauses. Claude Monet, 1840 to 1926, the painter of light, was a painter who loved nature so much that he almost became a gardener. Best known for his landscapes, including water lilies and haystacks. He also had a muse, his late first wife, Camille Dancieux. Those photographs and belongings were buried in a jealous rage by his second wife, Alice. Claude Monet's full name was Oscar Claude Monet. As a child, his parents called him Oscar, and he signed his name O. Monet. As a boy, Monet had a hobby of drawing caricatures of his teachers and friends, but it was the support of his mother, a singer, that encouraged him to pursue his dream of becoming a painter. At the age of 16, Monet studied oil painting and the plein air, open air technique of painting landscapes outdoors under the tutelage of Eugene Boudin, a painter he met on the beaches of Normandy. Monet impressionistically captured the changing light with sensual colors and swift brushstrokes. One day, while visiting the Louvre with a drawing board, Monet encountered painters copying the master's paintings and realized that he wanted to be different, so instead of copying the museum's masterpieces, he decided to paint the landscapes he saw by the river. He met and befriended Edouard Manet, who was 8 years his senior. In 1862, disillusioned with his classes at the École des Beaux-Arts, Monet entered as a student of Charles Gleyre, where he met Renoir and Sisley. By this time, Monet had fallen in love with Camille, who was his model, and they began living together. Born in Lyon, Camille Dancieux began modeling as a teenager and met Monet in 1865 at the age of 18. Camille modeled for Monet's masterpiece, Luncheon in the Grass, a parody of Manet's paintings, which Monet was preparing at the time. However, he was unable to complete the painting by the deadline and entered Woman in a Green Dress instead. Monet was a poor, unknown painter at the time, and his father disapproved of their relationship, which further impoverished him financially. Poor but loving, Monet's family often served as models for his painter friends, Edouard Manet and Auguste Renoir. After the birth of his eldest son, Jean, Monet returned to Paris, where he lived with Camille and Jean. In an unheated one-room apartment, they were officially married in June 1870, with the painter Gustave Courbet as witness. In 1874, Monet exhibited Impressionism, Sunrise, 1872, an impromptu impression of the harbor of the Le Havre, his home in Normandy, and amidst negative reviews from critics, Impressionism was born. In 1876, department store magnate and art collector Ernest Hochet, 1837 to 1891, commissioned Monet to create a large painting to decorate his opulent chateau, at which time Monet is believed to have had an affair with Ernest's wife, Alice Hochet. The following year, when Hochet went bankrupt and was forced to flee from Belgium to escape her creditors, Monet invited the Hochet family to live with him in his home. This brought the total number of people living under one roof to 12, Monet and Camille, their 2 sons, Jean and Michel, and the Hochets and their 6 children. Camille had to support this unexpectedly large family simply because of her husband Monet's kindness. In addition, Monet was having an affair with Alice, which must have been very stressful for his wife. Camille's health deteriorated after she gave birth to their second son, Michel, in 1878, and she died of uterine cancer the following year at the age of 32. After Camille's death, Monet settled in Giverny. Ernest Hochet dies penniless in 1891. Monet and Hochet's wife, Alice, the widower and widow, were formally married the following year. Monet made more than 30 paintings of Camille. The sorrow of her loss is keenly felt in the painting, Camille on Her Deathbed, 1879, which depicts Camille on her deathbed. Monet's depiction of Camille before her death was described by art critic John Berger as the most intense and subjective of all his representations of death. After Camille's death, Alice asked Monet to burn all of Camille's photographs, letters, and belongings. But Monet's paintings of Alice are hard to find. After Camille's death, Monet devoted himself to painting landscapes such as water lilies and haystacks, rather than people. Monet's garden at Giverny, where he spent half of his life painting, is still visited by travelers today. Monet spent most of his time in the gardens he made at Giverny after Camille's death, and it was there that he completed his iconic Water Lilies series. Monet often referred to his garden as his finest work. Looking out the window above the bed in Monet's room on the second floor, which still stands, you can see a beautiful landscape of green trees and colorful flowers, while the light scent of flowers sets the mood. The view from Monet's room was framed by a Japanese-style bridge over a pond with water lilies in the gardens of Giverny.